The absence of functional or lucrative market for the Northern Communal Areas, commonly referred to as the NCA, has left the majority of communal farmers in poverty. The status quo is extremely worrisome. For this reason, the NNFU was left with no other choice but to engage with our government and key stakeholders such as the European Union, the Gesellschaft für die internationale Zusammenarbeit, known as GIZ, Mid Board of Namibia, MIDCO, MIDCO Foundation, Agribank, AMTA, as well as subject matter specialists present here today, to reflect on and to predicate, to introspect and produce an alternative future for the NCA. A future that is plausible, where livestock production is profitable, resilient, and sustainable. To have such a future, it was necessary to propose strategic interventions that are informed by empirical evidence as dictated by a comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, CAADP. We therefore led a 4-month comprehensive investigation into the status quo of the marketing systems in the communal areas north of the veterinary cordon fence. The investigations analyzed the value chain of livestock and livestock products, and I'm happy today that the process was successfully completed, and we have the research findings and we'll share them with the reports of the study with you today. However, Comrade Minister, through the ED, fellow Namibians, the end of the study was just the beginning of it, and not the end of itself. Therefore, I directed the team to configure a transformation execution strategy that practically operationalizes the research recommendations. Now, allow me, Comrade Minister, to mention just some few key recommendations that I consider quick wins to turn the livestock economy of the Northern Communal Areas around. Number one, we must operationalize and bring to life the ministerial directives on public procurement so that the just opened abattoirs enter into the off-take agreement with institutional markets such as hospitals, schools, prisons, and retailers in the NCA for the supply of meat and meat products originating from the NCA livestock. If we don't act swiftly on this, those abattoirs and processing facilities will close because of the lack of cattle supply. It is my strong views that this directive will not only ensure the market access for the NCA livestock and livestock products, but it will redeem the huge investments of government which the government made in the slaughter and processing facilities, as well as other marketing and production infrastructures. This will in return be a milestone achievement. Number two, unlike in my early years when production pulled the markets, in this epoch with rapid changes and emerging markets, it is markets that pull production. Therefore, there is a big need to organize a Namibian team to leave the country to engage with fellow African countries in search of the marketing opportunities for our livestock and its byproducts, which lies in the NCA. Comrades, fellow Namibians, and our development partners, this is not just a rhetoric. As I speak to you now, I know that Botswana, for example, is having a similar problem such as ours in terms of transboundary diseases, such as FMD. But Botswana is exporting to the Middle East. So is Kenya. If they can do it, sometimes we said, if they did it, why can't we did it? Yeah, this is all about working and putting our images and strategies in place. And in a matter of being rigor in relationships and negotiations. Implementing CBT has been done before by MITCO, and it worked perfectly. So why can't we do it now? This is something we must do as of yesterday if we have to make the NCA a viable business. Number 3, Honorable Minister, the research findings show evidently that to transform the NCA, there is a need to invest in infrastructure so that we are able to own and operate the entire value chain from fodder production throughout to the processing. At this stage, from the NNFU perspective, we see no better and efficient alternative to livestock feed rather than invest in the fodder production. In particular, I'm calling upon your attention to the low-cost hydroponic fodder production system, which the NNFU is currently promoting. It can be used on a farm and on-farm and in feedlotting for fattening and finishing off animals for slaughter. And I call upon your Honorable Minister and our government to provide subsidies for the adoption of these systems by farmers and agripreneurs in the value chain. It is very crucial that this fodder and feedlots be located in such a way that it will minimize costs in the value chain. Honorable Minister, once we have a functional competitive value chain, the issue of market breakdown experienced today will be a thing of the past. Number 5, I would also like to call for the acceleration of improving the indigenous breeds. These are environmentally adaptable and cost efficient. However, it is possible to improve their efficiency and quality through artificial insemination and good breeding management practices. Commodity-based trading, Comrade Minister and fellow Namibians, should not be regarded as the end for the NCA livestock and livestock products. Moreover, it adds cost in the value chain. Our aim is it must be to reduce the cost in the value chain. Therefore, I further call for the extension of the FMD free zone northwards into what it is now called the buffer zone, so that we can broaden the marketing opportunities for the NCA livestock and its byproducts, and take away the costs associated with the commodity-based trading. Honorable Minister, I would also want to call for the transformation in the FMD outbreak management. FMD outbreak management must be in such a way, or should be conducted in such a way, that there is a very minimal disruption to the marketing the marketing of livestock and livestock products, and also all related commercial activities. It is not acceptable that livestock movement is restricted to extended periods during the outbreaks and marketing be closed for months, if not for years. Honorable Minister, most of the interventions and as validated by the research were known since independence and way before that. The bottlenecks has been at the execution. Therefore, as organized agriculture, we will work hand in hand with your ministry and all other key stakeholders to implement the findings and to implement the findings rather of the research. We stand ready, we from the NNFU, to cooperate and collaborate in the acceleration program of the provision of the public goods such as agricultural extension services, veterinary services, and to intensify research and development. Finally, I would like to thank you, Comrade Minister, wholeheartedly for the audience, and to my esteemed stakeholders and partners and colleagues, it's a loud applause for the job well done, and I thank you.
2 years ago, I was sitting next to my ambassador and next to the former Minister of Agriculture in Upugu. It was the Congress of the NNFU. And we took that opportunity to announce to the public that a financing agreement was going to be signed, where the European Union was pledging 20 million euro to the government of Namibia for improving the livestock value chain in the Northern Communal Areas. It took us 2 years of lengthy technical discussion to operationalize that financing agreement. And again, I have to take advantage one more time of an opportunity given to us by NNFU to inform you that that financing agreement is now operational. We recently signed a contract with the Ministry of Agriculture for the total amount of 280 million Namibian dollars in order to finance all the activities that are required to boost the livestock value chain in the Northern Communal Areas. I'm also glad to say to you that the transformation strategy that NNFU is presenting to us today and is launching together with the Minister of Agriculture has all the activities, all the outputs and all the objectives of the livestock support program that we signed with the government 2 years ago and that we are going to finance with the Ministry of Agriculture as from today. All these activities are there, but there are a few more innovative elements in the NNFU strategy that I would like to remark. In addition to the problems of the market, as correctly mentioned by the president of NNFU, in addition to the problems that farmers are facing for the management of the rangeland, and this is why we have grass for our animals cultivated in a very innovative way, and we have bush feed. The NNFU mentioned another point, which was almost absent in the program we designed 2 years ago. It's called transformation. It's called change. We need to make some changes in the way we operate. We cannot improve the situation in the Northern Communal Areas for our livestock farmers doing business as usual. We cannot. we need to push hard to achieve the results that are required. I was just giving you an example. A few days ago, I was attending a conference here in Windhoek about opening agriculture activity to the youth. That event was extremely interesting, was very well attended. Now the challenge is, how do you make livestock activities in the NCAs attractive to the youth? You need to introduce innovation technology, new ideas. We need to empower the youth. All these elements are cross-cutting in the NNFU strategy, and I think they should deserve all the attention that we as a service provider, whether it is public service provider, private service provider, and us as development partners, we should have. I think that we have enough strategies on the table. We have enough technical studies on the table. We are very well aware of the problems, all the problems, most of the problems, let's put it this way, and we have a wide range of solutions. Now the moment is to take courage and to act. From our support, we put some funds available, and they're available from today, actually from yesterday. So activities cannot be delayed. But activity have to be identified in an innovative manner, because no matter how much money you put on the table, if you want to do business as usual, money will not be sufficient to cater for all the problems we are facing. So I again would like to commend what NNFU is presenting today. I would like to commend what the Minister of Agriculture also is embarking upon, together with NNFU and other stakeholders. And I wish all of you and all of us success in our endeavor. Thank you very much.
The livestock sector has a vital role to play in improving nutrition and food security, building wealth, and contributing towards industrialization and growth of the national economy. Of concern to us is the proportion of agriculture's contribution to the national economy, which has fallen below 4% of GDP. With only 11 years now remaining to 2030, two questions evidently arise. The first is, wherein lies agriculture's potential to help realize the goal? And number two, what is needed to unlock the potential of the agricultural sector, and of particular concern today, the livestock subsector? We are fully aware that the livestock economy in the 8 northern regions has huge potential to help our country achieve its economic objectives as set out in the 5th National Development Plan, and ensure we ultimately meet the Sustainable Development Goals, especially goals on ending hunger, ending poverty, and promoting decent work and sustainable economic growth. The NCA has the highest rural Namibian population, the highest number of animals, and the highest unemployment. The livestock economy there contributes the least to the national economy and the cash income of farming households in those areas. In this regard, special attention must be, by imperative, be given to empowering the youth in agriculture, and this will help reduce youth unemployment. The challenges faced by the livestock sector in the 8 northern regions of Namibia are numerous, as elaborated in the report of the study on marketing systems of livestock and livestock products, which was commissioned by the farmers through the NNFU and funded by the government of the Republic of Namibia through the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Forestry, the EU, and GIZ. However, as reflected in the key recommendation from the study, these challenges are not insurmountable. The sector has been bedeviled by low productivity due to deteriorating rangeland and an unfavorable animal health status characterized by increased frequency of occurrences of foot and mouth disease in the Zambezi region and the increased risk of FMD outbreaks in the rest of the northern regions. This status is an impediment to gaining access to high-value markets. However, risk must always be managed to ensure meat from the northern regions has at the very least access to the local and national domestic markets, and if there is surplus, exported to markets without onerous sanitary requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, as government, we are seeking to change the situation. We are committed to the transformation of the northern region's livestock sector by developing the formal market for livestock in the form of new abattoirs in Rundu and Otapi and meat processing facilities in Rundu and Ongwendiva. We have ongoing projects to restore the abattoirs in Oshakati and Katima Mulilo to their export status. We are hopeful that the new operators will sustain operations of formal livestock marketing. This should encourage higher offtake of quality animals as demanded by the markets from our rangelands. My ministry, with support from the meat board, has reviewed the management of FMD outbreaks in the infected zone, the Zambezi region, parts of Kavango East region, the protection zone, and the rest of the northern regions. We will be announcing soon animal health measures aimed at ensuring that management of FMD outbreaks has the least impact on marketing of livestock and livestock products. Furthermore, we are going to announce soon new commodity-based trade measures that would allow safe movement of meat from the northern regions to areas south of the veterinary cordon fence, such as here in Windu, but also elsewhere worldwide. Our government, through the Ministry of Finance, has issued a directive to ensure the food service industry participating in government tenders procure their food requirements from locally produced grain, vegetables, meat, and others. My ministry and partners are committed to support implementation of this process to ensure that meat originating from the northern regions has access to local domestic markets. We will leave no stone unturned to make sure this directive is fully implemented. Director of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, while these and many other measures my ministry is implementing will bring much needed relief, we recognize that these are not enough. There is a need to transform the livestock sector in the northern regions to a market-oriented livestock sector, which meets the socio-economic needs of the value chain actors from farmers to consumers, while increasing its contribution to the national economy. Where there is a will, there is a way. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the northern region's livestock transformation strategy is a good opportunity for us in government, the value chain actors, and our development partners to transform the livestock sector in these 8 regions. The 5 pillars and key result areas adequately address the challenges at hand. Having seen the logical framework of this strategy, I am convinced that thorough planning has been done. I expect an executable implementation plan to follow soon, hopefully before our budget review in October 2019. Let us work together to make a difference. Director of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, unlocking the NCA livestock potential starts with the producers, shifting their vision of a cow as a symbol of status to a symbol of business and significant source of their cash economy. This, ladies and gentlemen, is possible if foremost the pull factor, which is the market, is efficient and effective. Ladies and gentlemen, the environment we operate in is highly competitive. Namibia too must become competitive in its operations and with its products and services. The Northern Communal Area strategy execution must be competitive and efficient in order to assist NCA livestock value chain operators become competitive. The enabling ecosystem must be dynamic and entrepreneurial. It must be efficient in support to the NCA livestock transformation process. Let us drop what doesn't work. Let our policies be conducive and supportive. Let our processes and systems be re-engineered to smoothen the already inherent challenging transformation process. Let us embrace digitization in our enabling environment and equally empower our agribusinesses and value chain operators. Ladies and gentlemen, we exist as agricultural institutions because farming and the whole agricultural value chain exists to grow the national economy and transform livelihoods. This alone makes a business case for agricultural public institutions to exist. Therefore, dragging our feet in serving and being accountable to agribusiness industry is dragging the agriculture and national economy backwards. Public institutions must be and act business-minded. Our policies must be evidence-based and business-enabling, having both the micro and macro picture in mind for the purpose of agricultural and economic growth and development. So efficiency must characterize our services and must be powered by coordination, collaboration, partnership amongst all role players. Finally, I would like to commend the NNFU board and its secretariat for this initiative of bringing all key players to the table and commissioning a marketing study to ensure this strategy and the implementation plan that follows are based on evidence. With these few words, I hereby take the honor and privilege of launching the livestock sector transformation strategy for the 8 northern regions, namely Zambezi, Kavango East, Kavango West, Oshikoto, Ohangwena, Oshana, Omsati, and Kunene regions.